It was my third week working the night shift at a small roadside motel in Nevada. Nothing fancy, just 12 rooms, a flickering neon sign, and a front desk that smelled like old coffee. Night shifts were usually quiet, truck drivers checking in late, couples passing through, silence after 1 a.m. That night was different. At exactly 12:06 a.m., a man walked in. He was tall, thin, wearing a dark jacket. I remember thinking he looked exhausted, the kind of tired that sleep doesn't fix. He didn't smile, didn't speak much either. "Room for one night," he said. His voice was calm, too calm. I handed him the form. He filled it out slowly, carefully. Name, address, phone number. Everything looked normal. I gave him room 214, second floor, end of the hallway. He took the key, nodded once, and walked out. I watched him through the glass door until he disappeared up the stairs. Something about the way he walked bothered me. Not a limp, not injured, it just felt delayed, like his movements were half a second behind reality. I shook it off. At 12:41 a.m., the security monitor beeped. Motion detected. Hallway, second floor. I glanced at the screen. The hallway was empty. Lights buzzing. Carpet still. No movement. I leaned closer. Then I saw it. At the far end of the hall, near room 214, a figure stood facing the wall, just standing there, not moving. I assumed it was the guest, maybe drunk, maybe confused. I grabbed the intercom mic. "Sir, is everything okay up there?" No response. The figure didn't move. I watched for another 10 seconds. Then the screen went black, static. The system reset itself. That had never happened before. At 1:12 a.m., the front desk phone rang. "Room 214, I answered. Silence. I could hear breathing. Slow, controlled. "Sir," I said. Still nothing. Then the line went dead. I logged the call and tried to calm myself. Maybe a prank. Maybe a bad connection. At 1:47 a.m., I heard footsteps. Upstairs. Slow, heavy, deliberate. I froze. Guests weren't supposed to be walking around at this hour. And those footsteps weren't casual. They sounded paced, like someone was counting each step. I checked the monitor again. Second floor hallway, empty. But the footsteps continued. One step, pause, another step. They stopped directly above the front desk. Then came the sound of something dragging. I stood up. "Hello?" I called out, my voice shaking despite my effort. No answer. At 2:03 a.m., a car pulled into the lot. Relief washed over me. A middle-aged woman stepped inside. "I'm checking out early," she said quickly. "I can't stay here." "Is something wrong with the room?" I asked. She looked at me like she was deciding whether to tell the truth. "There's a man standing outside my door," she whispered. "He hasn't moved for an hour." My stomach dropped. "What room are you in?" 213, right next to 214. I swallowed. "Did you see his face?" She shook her head. "He was facing the wall." At 2:11 a.m. she left. I locked the front door behind her, against policy. I didn't care. I checked the security feed again, second floor. This time the camera showed the hallway clearly. Room 214's door was open. The room was dark. And standing between 213 and 214 was the man, facing the wall. I watched. My hands were shaking. Slowly, his head turned, not toward the camera, toward me, toward the front desk, even though that was impossible. The camera feed distorted. The lights in the hallway flickered. Then the screen went black again. At 2:30 a.m., the elevator dinged. Someone was coming down. I backed away from the desk. The doors opened. No one was inside. But muddy footprints led out of the elevator, straight toward the front desk. They stopped inches from where I stood. At 2:59 a.m., room 214 called again. This time I didn't answer. Instead, I checked the guest log. Room 214. The name field was blank. So was the address. So was the phone number. The form was empty, like no one had ever written on it. At 3:02 a.m., the security system recorded one final event. Motion detected. Front desk. I looked up. The glass entrance door reflected my face, and behind me, Someone was standing, not moving, facing the wall. I don't remember leaving the motel. I don't remember calling my manager. I only remember sitting in my car as the sun came up, staring at my hands, trying to understand what had just happened. The police said room 214 had been empty all night. No guest, no key usage, no camera footage after midnight. The motel closed 2 weeks later. Sometimes at exactly 12:06 a.m., my phone rings, no caller ID. When I answer, I hear breathing and footsteps, slow, careful, coming closer.